Larry Holder, Clyde, Verdin literally pulling off the side of the road as Mark Ingram's suspended, 4-game suspension, and it was for a banned substance, performance enhancer, and I would certainly say that, to me, I'm taken aback. I would never anticipate seeing Mark Ingram and suspension in the same sentence, but look, that's what's happening, and according to the NFL Network, this has kind of been known. Usually when you see these suspensions, it's not like something all of a sudden just popped up. Usually it's something that is known, and even the NFL Network reporting it's one of the reasons why they didn't shop Mark Ingram, which is certainly another twist to the puzzle. But my initial reaction to this, Clyde, is that, man, the Saints are going to be without one of their best weapons in the offense. They've been distraction-free for a good portion of the past year, and now you have this, and it's certainly going to be a distraction, maybe for a little while off the field, but it will be on the field for at least for the first 4 games. Yeah,
you know, it's one of those things where it's unfortunate that, you know, we had talked so much about the Saints being an organization that was priding itself on having their guys be bought in with what the organization was trying to do,
like you've gotten
past this, and that you're on the field. And, you know, what's unfortunate about this is that now, for about the 2nd straight year, we're going to go into the regular season, and we're going to talk about the Saints not having one of their key pieces for the first 4 games. And trust us, those first 4 games for a Saints team that won the division last year is going to have one of the tougher schedules of the NFL next year. You got 2 division opponents in that game, in those first 4 games, along with 2 other opponents. It's such a tough blow. It's just unfortunate. I mean, like you said, it caught us off guard. We had to pull off on the side of the road because we didn't know what else to make of it. But I mean, obviously Larry has his thoughts up on NOLA.com. But just, I mean, I don't know, man. This came out of nowhere for us, and it's so strange because now we're talking about who down the depth chart is going to step up and be that guy outside next to Alvin Kamara.
Right, and Alvin Kamara is certainly going to be the #1 back. I don't think there's any question about it. But the depth chart behind them is certainly untested. They just drafted Boston Scott in the 6th round. Trey Edmonds is back for year 2, but he was more as the special teams guy. Daniel Lasco, to me, I think his future may have been up in the air. Now he might be actually safe. Of course, he's a draft pick from a couple of years ago. I would anticipate them looking for a veteran running back temporarily. No, not Adrian Peterson. Don't even start
I was about to say it.
I know you were going to start it. I'm not saying Adrian Peterson, but maybe they surprise me and they go get him. I don't know. I don't think Adrian Peterson's coming back for a temporary piece. But look, it's certainly something that the Saints offensively, Mark Ingram is one of their biggest pieces to the puzzle. And Alvin Kamara isn't used to taking the boatload of carries. The most he's ever had in his college and professional career in 1 game is 18. And that's rare. He had 12, did that 3 times with the Saints last year, and you want to keep him diverse. So where do you go from here? But also, look, Mark Ingram's entering the final year of his contract. That's why it's kind of suspect that he switched agents. And then this suspension, I'm sure the Saints were abreast of this. They didn't just find this out today. But it's still stunning that one of the biggest leaders of the team, one of the best weapons, honestly, in football. He played as one of the best running backs last year. And really coming on, this certainly kind of throws a little monkey wrench into this thing going into 2018.
Yeah, you're talking about the 5th leading rusher in the NFL last year, had 12 total touchdowns on the ground for the Saints. And I mean, what's I guess even just as strange is that we've seen Mark Ingram most of the offseason. I mean, he's coming off back-to-back 1,000-yard years. You know, we've seen him in Mardi Gras parades. We've seen him at Pelicans games, just even as recently as Sunday. And so, you know, you're like, man, if things weren't going any more right for the Saints, like you'd almost have to pinch somebody. And obviously, well, I guess unfortunately for us, we now know for them it's one of those things where, yeah, it was that it was a little bit too good to be true almost. And, you know, that's one of the unfortunate parts of it is that we don't know the full story, but I'm sure maybe we'll get something from the full story here soon. But right now, man, it's just so fresh and so raw. But clearly going into rookie minicamp here this weekend and going into OTAs and obviously summer workouts, which he will be able to do. He will be able to do workouts.
But that's on his, I'm curious to see if he's going to be there because according to the NFL Network, they're saying he hasn't been around for off-season workouts. He doesn't plan to be there for OTAs. OTAs are quote-unquote voluntary. He doesn't get fined for that. He would get fined if he missed minicamp. That's usually in the mid-June period. And so I'm curious to see where this goes because, look, the Saints, you mentioned the schedule. I do think you look at the first 4 games of the season, and it's as if he's injured. That's what you're going to go in there with. They are winnable. Look, they're playing Tampa, Cleveland, and they go on the road at Atlanta and the Giants. Do I think they could survive without him? Yes. And does it at least help to have a fresh Mark Ingram going into the next 12 games? Sure, but this is not optimal. This is not what you want to see. And I don't think he's going to be shipped off to Siberia like Willie Snead. This is a different deal, but there is certainly some rough waters, especially if we're going by what the NFL Network's reporting. It's not just the suspension, it's these other things having to do with his contract. He's going in the final year of that deal. So we've got some unrest already in May for the Saints, Clyde.
Oh man, we couldn't even barely get past the draft, and now look at where we are.
I thought this was going to be a slow week.
Yeah, I know, right? I was about to say, we were going to have nothing to talk about except for, the Pelicans on tomorrow's Dunc and Holder, but obviously we're going to have a lot to talk about. I mean, I guess, maybe some more information will come out between now and then, but I mean, I guess now, and it seems like from most of the live subscribers that we have right now watching this, now the question is, do you go out and get a veteran? Do you go out and get somebody that's maybe, needing just a one-year deal or something?
I would say absolutely. I mean, they have to.
What names do you think will come up? Because I mean, obviously, I know one I saw was DeMarco Murray. I know I've seen that name come up a bit. I mean, it's just at this point, pick your poison. I mean, there's going to be people out there, but it all depends on what the Saints want, what the Saints are going to be able to do, and how they expect to see themselves through 4 games of the regular season without Mark Ingram.
And in coach speak, it is what it is. He's suspended. It's final. That's what it is. And so the Saints will be without Mark Ingram for the first 4 games of the 2018 season, suspended for a banned substance as a performance enhancer under the NFL's policy. So we'll talk more about this on Dunc and Holder tomorrow, 10 to noon on Sports 1280 AM.